All right, kicking off our historic segment today, feeling a little Sultai. This is a base blue-black control deck with a green splash for flexible answer all-star here, Maelstrom Pulse. This is easily my pick for my favorite card that's been printed in either of the historic anthologies. Just fantastically fair card to have added to the format. Past that, we've got a couple of few arrows in here as well as a way to generate card advantage, gain life to help stabilize things for us against aggressive decks, and close the game as it game's out. Past Uro, we've got a couple of Murderous Rider and a couple of Ashiok as additional win conditions. Thanks for the 5 months, Prodigy. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And for the most part, we're splashing for Maelstrom Pulse. Uro is like a free addition we get to drag along since we want this flexible answer. In fact, even before Uro was printed in Standard, we had played a few blue-black control iterations that featured Assassin's Trophy as a splash. So Dream Trawler. I don't think blue-white's a very good deck in Historic right now, which obviously now that I've said that, we're going to play against a bunch of blue-white. But even if we do queue into a blue-white deck, I've got 3 Disdainful Stroke to counter Dream Trawler, and I've got 3 Shifting Ceratops that can gain reach and block Dream Trawler. So I think even without playing a kind of narrow, expensive card like Liliana, we still have plenty of answers to that. On top of our, 6 discard spells and 3 Thassas. I don't think we need Libation. Like, I have better cards that destroy enchantments in this deck because we have the green splash. So again, one, don't think blue-white is stellar in this format. Even if it is, it hasn't been super popular at the very least. And past that, even if it is, we have answers to Trawler. You should see your name. The list of people who are registered for the Open is public, so you should be able to see your name in the list. Ashiok's a threat that has Can't Confine too, though. Does Casualties of War have a home in Historic? I think the card's super reasonable. It's very good against Golos Field, for example. The deadline for signups is theoretically an hour before the tournament starts, but there is a 256 player cap on the event. Memes! We're being memed, chat! We're being memed! Alright, we need to draw a discard spell. We need to draw a discard spell. Oh no! Oh no! Mystic Sanctuary, put your treasure hunt back on top. That's just good, clean living right there, chat. Alright, we've been memed. Believe it or not, my sideboard does not contain cards for this matchup. Believe it or not, my sideboard does not contain cards for playing this matchup. I have 6 discard spells. Alright. Sweet memes are made of these. Do 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 do. So, it's been brought to my attention by someone in a DM, and thank you for this. Apparently there is a limited direct challenge tournament mode where historic decks are legal in it, and it has match timers. I'll have to verify. That sounds like it's accurate, though, because limited would be any set, right? Like, because there's lots of limited sets. I mean, deck lists are public. So, like, if your opponent plays a card that's not in their deck, you should know that. Yeah, it won't enforce format legality would be the thing. Limited tournament match, best of 3. Yeah, all my historic decks are legal here. Okay, yeah, I guess that's what we use, right? Because I'd like to have Arena manage the timers. So, okay, like ideally the client would enforce tournament legality for us. Decklist submissions all handled via MTG Melee. It's better than not having match timers. The MTG Melee site is incredibly good software. It's really, really good. If you're playing with headphones on too, it plays an audio file. If you have your sound on, it plays a round paired audio file when the round starts too. So you don't have to have the browser page up and keep refreshing it. It notifies you. Sounds pretty good. MTG Melee is a third-party piece of software. I've been that looking for lands. I'm having the strangest sense of deja vu, chat. Let's get greedy and do this and try and hit the land. Rats. It's garbage time. You don't have to go home, but you can't play here. Do 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 do. Yes, we had to flip, search, and then escape burrow. You love to see it. Hey, no worries, Gun 3. Thanks for keeping me around, and hope you're staying safe out there. Do. Hey, Care Bear, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. Sure, Dwight. Yes, yeah, MTG Melee is really good, and it shows you the start time for the tournament, whatever your local computer time is currently. So it auto-adjusts the time zone for you. When I said this website was just straight good software, I was not joking. It's really well done. First day back at the office for essential work, and the only positive thing I could say is at least it saves me some toilet paper. I mean, do they actually need you in, or are they just, like, jerking you around? Alright, would I rather cut discard spells or counter spells? I have 5 cuts I need to make here. Legion's End might not be very good here. Trim around the edges here a little bit. In my opinion, it's always better to hedge aggressive decks with things like Eat to Extinction than with things like Contempt than it is to hedge selection and mid-range matchups with things like Eat to Extinction. The stock market is crashing in Animal Crossing. Brutal. I'm sorry your late-stage capitalism emulator is not going well for you. Do I have a favorite historic deck right now? Definitely Yarok Field. Oh god no, I work better for home, but for some reason, software development is part of IT, and I'm the only one under 60 in department, so I might need to unplug and plug things back in. Rough. Which hopefully had their last thread off at the pass here. Deal. Been that. I don't know what the best historic deck is, but it's definitely not blue-white control in a format where... It's definitely not blue-white control in a format where Nissa who shakes the world. Swing and a miss, friendo. Swing and a miss. In a format where Field with it is legal. I would actually be very surprised if Nexus of Fate was very good in this format. My money would be on some iteration of Gruul. Oh, is that a good draw, chat? Spyglass can name Uro, and no, it won't keep him from escaping. Escape is an alternative cost, it's not an activated ability. So if we bin the top card of our deck, we get to flip Search for Azcanta here. You can remember because humans are activated abilities because we have colons. Ain't that the truth? Morning, Bob. I'm going to keep this, I think, and bottom... Do I bottom Legion's End or Ritual of Soot here? I think it's Legion's End. Gives me a good, decent 2-3-4 curve. Spy Mania, thank you for the tip. I appreciate that. Where's my dashboard? For black, red, Crocs of Control sounds good. I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna take the one that lets them accelerate. Looks like Jund Dinos here. Khrid. Wheel. Things not quite going as planned so far here, chat. Is Jund Dinos a playable deck in Historic? I think so. It's one of the many Historic decks you can find up on my website. Hey, Kenix. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. We've been playing this deck for about 20 minutes. On our second match with it here. So we get to do this. And then we get to find an untapped land and Ritual of Soot. And then we can Vraska's Contempt their follow-up. Oh, no. Oh, no. The most untapped of lands, chat. Nice untapped land, Hogland. Get toasted. Think we're dead here. Actual factual dead here, yep. Yikes. Yikes. Disfigure is pretty bad here. Ritual of Soot seems good if we can cast it on time. Ashiok's probably slow. Legion's End is probably not good, actually. Disfigures. I guess Legion's End tags their 2-3 dino and this doesn't, so I'll leave one of those in. Metagame the Historic Open. What beats your Heartfield? Asking the real questions. If you bump the party bus deck, will we see it today? You will not. So I do not do deck updates midstream except for very large donations. Thanks, Captain Command. I think there's 26 lands in here with 3 scry lands. 26, 3 scry lands, 2 search to help us hit our land drops, couple of Thought Erasure help us surveil a little bit. So there's historic direct challenges, I believe, Ashworld, but they don't support a tournament timer. So you can't have the client enforce people playing quickly, or like decide that there won't be draws. I think we have a small workaround in that apparently there's a limited direct challenge mode where historic decks are legal, but it won't enforce the historic ban list. So we'll probably use that when they don't add things. And like, if your opponent's playing an illegal deck, you'll just have to report them. And we'll disqualify them from the tournament for doing so. I think it's probably the workaround we'll go with. Staying nice and healthy here. Yeah, the limited mode basically has no card restrictions, and the only thing limited specific about it is it allows you to challenge with less than 60 cards. Yeah, I won't be playing in the tournament, so I could give down rulings if there's issues, and Christy's gonna be helping manage things as well. So she'll likely be handling things while asking me if she has any questions about how a specific instance should be handled. But ideally, there won't be much need for judges because, like, MTG Melee automates a lot of stuff, and, let's say MTG Melee automates a lot, and so does Arena. That's perfect. So, under normal circumstances, I would do merch for prizes. Under current circumstances, I don't envision myself going to the post office anytime soon. So. You did this to us, K9. This is your fault. This is your fault. I mean, the good news is I have a Noxious Grasp on top of my deck here, so until this card is also gas, we're in a fine spot. I was hoping to use this intervention to draw 2 cards, but, you know, desperate times and all that. I'd really love to draw an Uro. Just actual best draw on the deck. Okay, well, the good news is they're out of gas. The bad news is the top of their deck is not out of gas, so. Yeah, Huntmaster is super strong. This is a deck I would, if you're looking to spike the upcoming. If you're looking to spike the upcoming Hoaglandia tournament, I think the Jund Dinos list on my site's a good place to start. Rough. The top of their deck was indeed done. And someday I will learn to harness my future predicting powers for evil. Against turn 1 basic mountain, do I shock this in to hold up Disfigure? I think I do. Wow, that's a hand. Shoot. Yeah, am I supposed to just, like, the problem with taking the I think I'm supposed to just take their threats. I think I'm supposed to take the bird. We'll deal with the Conqueror's Death later. The Conqueror's Deaths are much slower. Maybe I should scry before remorsing there. Because, like, if I know... Vomit. Oh, they also don't have double white yet. That's a good call. Yeah, they're probably a red-white Fire's deck. Hey, Eartham, thanks for the biddies. I appreciate that. You're welcome, Gazer. This Disfigure and Legion's End not looking so hot here. A little bit of that wrong half problem going game 1, like you often have in these interactive decks. The answer to how full is my graveyard is not full enough. I feel like we have pretty good tools here, especially post-board when I get to bring in Strokes and Gusts. Yeah, I think Casualties is fine. That kills Fires and a threat and a land. If you can't make the day of the first tournament, be aware that if this goes successfully, and I'm hoping it does, this is going to be a regular occurrence. I think it could be a monthly thing. Confirmed Fire's deck. Oh, and they're actually just Sky, huh? I think I'm in for a 4th land here. Yeah, you can theoretically, if you join and then something comes up, you can drop so someone else can take the slot. Silence! Thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Well, that was a great draw. Would you like another? So the 2 months silence. Welcome back. Keeping our hand at parity here so they don't get to draw cards with Robber is great. Yes, yeah, you can cast this and pay just 3 with Fires Out to get the other, to get the 4/4 is correct. I don't know the answer to that, Fantima. Wanted to Murderous Rider the thing there so that way they didn't start drawing cards. Can't Aether Gust this turn with playing the Rider, but I think that's fine. You need to be using Discord's desktop client, Corrosion. You can't be using Discord through the web browser. Hey, Yamalusi. Thank you for the Brandy Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Yes, if your computer is unable to broadcast, if your computer at this time without a feature that allows us to spectate matches, a requirement to play in this tournament is that your computer hardware needs to be strong enough to stream your arena to Discord. That includes your internet bandwidth as well. So I know that limitation is going to cut some people out of the tournament, unfortunately, but until Wizards of the Coast is able to give us real features in this application, that has to be a requirement, because the purpose of doing these tournaments is that I want to be able to make content with them. This is a content channel. No, I don't want to have someone making the finals of the event and then not be able to watch and broadcast and do coverage of the finals of the tournament because someone joined who can't support it. I don't have loose system requirements offhand. I would encourage you to join one of the voice channels in the Discord server and check it out. Yeah, 10 Mbps should be plenty. Streaming to Twitch only takes 6 Mbps. So I would imagine if you have a consistent 5 Mbps up or more, you should be fine. I think I'm mulligan this in the dark. Double search is awkward. It's not very interactive. Yeah, this is much better. It's been a while since I've done commentary for anything personally. I did a little bit with Matt when we played. We did some official coverage for an older game called Hex TCG that I used to play a bunch of on stream. And then I did a couple of the very early Nerd Rage tournaments, but then my streaming content took off and it just didn't make sense financially to do commentary versus streaming here on the weekends. Mr. Brush, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oaklandia. Okay, so they're playing Ramp. I got a peekaboo at their hand there before they conceded. Opponent conceded the match. Yeah, Tuesday, Friday are my days off this week. So I'll be off tomorrow and I will be off Friday. So there's 6 different channels, voice channels, or 7 different voice channels in the subs Discord server. If you want to test out what the streaming looks like, you can use one of those that's empty in there. Feel free if you're in there already. It should also work theoretically on any Discord server you're in. Probably like a Grixis Fires deck. Could just be Grixis Planeswalkers too. I think I'm gonna go ahead and Maelstrom Pulse her. I want to be able to draw cards down the line, and this cuts her off of activating a second time. I have just the card for that. Any changes you would make to the historic flash deck on my site? No, if there were changes I would make to that deck list, I would make them on the website. An important thing to understand about the decks on my website is that those pages are living pages. When I feel there's changes to make, I update them even if I'm not playing them. So even though you'll notice on a lot of those pages, the deck list that's listed often isn't identical to whatever the latest video is, because I work on and update those things even when we're not playing them. Alex the Great, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Yeah, if your upload is 52 Mbps, the only other consideration is make sure that your computer hardware, because there is a little bit more overhead on your computer broadcasting your matches in addition to everything else. If you have a modern gaming computer, you won't have anything to worry about. If your computer struggles to run just Arena, though, it's probably gonna struggle and not be able to stream your games, though. Sweet, Alex, awesome. Correct. Yes, you do not. I will not be doing coverage off of people on Twitch. You need to be broadcasting to Discord. So the general idea is what's going to happen is each round of the tournament, I'm going to pick 3 feature matches. And the people in those 3 feature matches will be expected to join the general voice channel in Discord. And then Christy will manually assign you to the appropriate individual channels where you can all go live at the same time. And then I'll pick from one of those to start with, and then we'll switch to others as time permits if the first one finishes quickly. All right, so boarding here, we've got Stroke in, Casualties of War, Ceratops sounds good. We're going to trim some of the spot removal and our sweepers. They are Grixis, so like bringing in an Aether Gust seems fine. Yeah, if you want to, like, join the tournament now and then, like, test it tonight or later this week and, like, make sure. That's part of the reason why I'm giving a 2 weeks notice. We'll probably give a reasonable amount of notice. Yeah, you're able to verify by joining any of the channels on a Discord server now and then streaming it. It's not 11 rounds plus top 8, Ohio. It's a double elimination tournament. 11 rounds includes everything. So the winner of the tournament will play 11 matches. So it is technically Swiss, but everybody will be dropped after their second loss. So there won't be any tiebreaker shenanigans. It'll be double elimination. Yeah, second place will play 11 matches too. That's true. Yeah, I think I'm in for Remorse here. If you are unable to broadcast your matches, you are not allowed to play in the tournament currently. If you join the tournament and I ask you to start broadcasting and you cannot, you will be dropped from the tournament and barred from playing in the future. And I know that that's rough, but again, like, the point of this is to do content, and, like, until we have a real spectator mode, that's a rule I just have to have. So it sucks a little bit that that's something I have to do, but again, the goal of this is to do content, and I want to be able to broadcast every match that I want to be able to broadcast. You do not need Nitro to broadcast, correct? Legion War Boss gonna give us a little bit of a runaround here. Yes, yeah, the feature, there will be official coverage of the tournament here, just like you would expect from a normal tournament. And in fact, assuming people follow the rules, it'll be better than most of these arena tournaments because I'll be able to do coverage of whoever I want because everybody joining is agreeing that they're going to broadcast to Discord. It won't just be depending on the good faith of people being willing to broadcast to Twitch. And obviously, if there's, like, extenuating circumstances and, like, normally your setup works and, like, it works for one round and there's a crash and another, like, you know, things happen, I'm gonna be reasonable. But, like, I'm asking that you don't go in and join the tournament knowing that your hardware doesn't work with what we need. I would even just settle for a spectator mode, Dad Confidant. I don't even need a full tournament support. I just need, yeah, deck list will be fully open. God, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The only thing you need to stream is Discord. You need the desktop Discord version. You don't have to set up your own Twitch stream. The requirement is literally join a voice channel, click go live, select your arena window. You're not going to have to finagle with OBS or anything like that. It'll be super clean and easy. Yep. In fact, I don't want people broadcasting it to Twitch because then I'd have to, like, strip out overlay stuff and my setup to broadcast would be different for different people. The only strict requirement about any of this is that you just have to have hardware and bandwidth to be able to do it. If you have hardware and bandwidth to be able to do it, it's super easy. I think I just do this because if they don't have If they don't have a removal spell other than these here, this can block this, which is great. I tend to try to live by the rule, don't assume something is easy to program if you haven't seen their code base. So whether or not a spectator mode would be trivial to add to Magic Arena, I have no idea. I just know that it would be a feature that would enable doing stuff like this, and like what Channel Fireball is doing. It would make these things much easier to do from a tournament organizer side of it. We're going to go ahead and leave this land in my hand, so that way when they Ashiok down-tick my Uro here, I can exile the land. Yep, that's exactly right, Wild Growth Watcher. And again, if you want to test the Go Live functionality that I expect people to be able to use, you can go in the Hoaglandia Discord server or any other Discord server and try it whenever you want.
This is overwhelming. Hone your prowess.
I watched 30 videos on game dev last night. I'm basically an expert. How to decide on the structure of the open double limb. So, a traditional Swiss tournament, you're mostly dead for top 8 when you have 2 losses anyways. So I decided to do double elimination to remove tiebreaker feel bads, but also to make the logistics of the tournament go easier, because as players get eliminated and there's fewer people playing, round turnover will go faster. So from a logistical standpoint, it's functionally the same, while it's functionally the same as normal Swiss, while from a logistical standpoint being better for what we're looking to do. Vraska's Contempt is a card. Yes, players will need to be muted during their matches. I would like your arena sounds broadcast, but not your microphone. I think I'm gonna exile Narset here and then attack Ashiok with my Uro, I think is my plan. Oh, that's a good one. It is on Easter Sunday, and that was my thought on that, Corrosion. I was like, most people probably don't have plans anyways. Have you linked your Twitch account to your Melee account, Silaris? I don't think I want a Murderous Rider now. I think I'm just passing. I think there's a chance they like down tick this Ashiok on my Uro and then like play another Ashiok. Vomit. Well, shoot. All right, let's kill this in response. So they don't get to draw a card when I kill it. So they get to draw 2 cards here. I think we're probably dead here. This match did not feel particularly close. We just got, like, ground into the absolute dirt. Okay, I mean, like, all things considered, that's a very good draw. Yeah, we're not out of this game just yet. We've got some stuff. We've got Azcanta, we've got Uro.
Come, create
You get Disdainful Stroke tier. Dispute. Think I'm just making a friend. And that's usually how things like this go in these older formats, right, Percy? Like, you make a decision on, like, if you want to respect aggro or if you want to beat control. And, like, I didn't put a lot of thought into beating control with this deck. I put more thought into trying to beat Field of the Dead decks. Because, like, my opponent's deck, for example, is probably very bad against Field of the Dead. While it's going to dumpster us. And, like, that's how non-rotating formats work to a degree. You kind of have to pick and choose what matchups you want to hedge and which ones you're going to give up. I think electing to give up matchups like this is fine. It's a Maelstrom Pulse. Okay. They don't have a counterspell for this. Okay. That's on 3. I think I'm kind of okay with them bouncing this, though. It's gonna draw a card, too, right? The Canadian stimulus package is, wow, what's the TLDR? I mean, Canada's basically better than the United States in every way, so, like... $8,000 plus $2,000 per month. Yeah. Yeah, if I'm being completely honest, if we ever get to a point where if Christy ever loses her job, I would be very surprised if I remain in the United States with my family. Actually, that's the real question. How much money are they spending bailing out billionaires and large corporations? That's actually the number I'm more interested in. It's 8,000 over 4 months. Sure. Still significantly better than what the United States is doing. It's not 8,000 plus that, but still significantly better than what's going on here. Got it. And again, my other question, how much money did they allot for billionaires, though? How much in corporate bailouts are they giving? That's a good measure for the difference here. Have you tried a PNG file because it's 2020? Your JPEG is failing to upload. Did you try a PNG file because it's not 2010 anymore? Yeah, I think we're gonna stabilize and take over this game, huh? Ashiok sleeves are great. You're not wrong. Thanks everybody for getting out here today, by the way. We're up to almost 1,300 people in here enjoying Historic. Looking forward to running some Historic tournaments. Hopefully this first one goes well and we get to make this a monthly thing. All businesses can take a $40,000 interest-free loan and $10,000 can be forgiven when specific conditions are met. Sure. Seems very reasonable. Someone just tweeted John Oliver's latest segment at me. Can I just say, if you haven't watched it, it's excellent as always. Last Week Tonight should be on your normal watch list if you want good informative news. A lot of people have been asking recently, what are good places to go for news sources? John Oliver on Last Week Tonight is a very good, trusted source. Would highly recommend him. John Oliver also has probably the best home studio out of all of the late night hosts. Like, watching Colbert and Seth Meyers, like, struggle to make videos with their cell phones is kind of amusing. Oliver had, like, a real camera, and he had, like, a clip-on mic and everything. It was very well done.
There are so many with thoughtfulness before action.
Yeah, Philip DeFranco is also a good one. I agree, he's on my normal rotation. I think I'm bidding that for now. I want to fill my graveyard up to flip the Search for Azcanta ASAP. Honestly, I'm just going to take the War Boss. I know I have double Pulse here, but it would leave a token behind if they hit it. And I'd kind of like to just, I'm going to bottom this because I'm milling whatever's on top of my deck anyways. And I'd like the chance to mill an Uro next turn. Because if I mill whatever's on top of my deck, I get to flip this over. No, Oliver said on his piece today that he was recording from home. I'm going to activate this now because I could have discard spell, he says, before bricking miserably. So they get to pay life and 4 mana to draw 1 card. We get to look at a bunch. Let's just get rid of that one. So what's our best draw here? Casualties of War, probably? That sounds great. Why don't you think the opponent sideboarded very well? Let me Pikachu. Rather than giving unactionable bad feedback, I always request that if you're going to criticize my opponent on a play that they've made, you hold yourself to the same standard that I hold you to here. In fact, take a 10-minute break. Lots of people go back and watch their matches against me after the fact, saying things like opponent made a mistake without giving constructive feedback on why they made a mistake is just you being rude, and there's no need for that. So, My mana is kind of tied up. I'm going to pay for this and make them use the second Dispute here as well. And then we'll sack a land when they plus this, and then we'll untap and Contempt this. So they get a 2-for-1 out of me here of sorts, but I think this is still fine. Good Agonizing Remorse. I appreciate you. Alright, so I think we're a little bit ahead, but this game's definitely close. Another Nicol Bolas or Powerful Planeswalker off the top here from them puts us pretty far behind. I'm going to activate this now because, again, I can find the discard spell. I'll just leave these over here. So, like, they're getting some extra cards here, too, but, like, their life total's a real concern here, especially with Murderous Rider in their hand. Yep, correct. And they're just drawing the top card of our deck. We're looking at 4 and taking the best non-creature spell. Now, scrying here is better for them. Stroke is a good one to have in the middle. You're not wrong. I'm going to wait to play this Ashiok until after I find the discard spell with this search to take their Murderous Rider away. That's a great one. I'm gonna shock this in because my health total is relatively high. If they don't give me something that I can counterspell next turn, I'm gonna go ahead and just draw 2 with this and just get further ahead here. Hitting more land drops is good because if I hit more land drops, I can activate Search for Cancel while also playing more spells in a turn, which is ideal. Sure. That one's got a Maelstrom Pulse on it. So look at the top 3, take 2. In it to win it, chat. Oh, that's a good one too. How long have we been on this deck? A little over an hour. I'm going to do one more match after this one, I think. We might not get all the way to Abzan enchantments today. This deck's been a lot of fun. It's felt reasonably powerful, too. You like it when I stroke you, Nicol Bolas? We're gonna do at least 2 more decks after this one. If we bump something else off, we'll bump Abzan enchantments. That'll stay in the queue for next time. This has been quite the slog. I feel like we've been in control for this game for the most part. I was really impressed that our deck was able to come back and win the second game, though. Felt like we were behind for a lot of that and able to claw our way back in nicely. So, Rider's lethal here.
I have other schemes to attend to.
What's my take on Trump's announcement? Which announcement? Are we talking about him saying things should stay closed until the end of April? Or was there more to it than that? His daily press briefings have been filled with propaganda and basically campaign advertisements for himself, so I haven't really been following on them super closely. I can only take so much of a narcissistic psychopath arguing with and yelling at reporters. Yeah, but at least Twitch chat, like, pays me to yell at me. We got that going for him. Moodian, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I'm going to hold on to this Disfigure for now. I might try and get myself set up to Legion's End, both of these, I think. Just to make my position abundantly clear, just so people understand where I come from with this whole thing. Every person that dies in the United States because that dies in the United States because of a lack of medical supplies that led to them dying, Donald Trump is responsible for that. If Donald Trump had been responsible and listened to the professionals around him, or the people that he had previously fired, most likely, we would have been preparing for this back in January when we had the lead time to know about it. So when we're running out of protective gear and hospitals don't have enough ventilators, Donald Trump is responsible for that. And all of those people who voted for Donald Trump, you're complicit in his responsibility for that. You need to be accountable for the narcissistic psychopath you elected to office who mismanaged this entire situation. I'm really surprised. Opponent had a good read on that Disfigure, huh? Really surprised they didn't counter the Disfigure. I tried to bait them and they didn't bite. It's a good read for sure. Speaking of good, what are the odds that resolves? Well, they only have one card, so 0%. For those of you that haven't played against Mono Blue before, welcome to Thunderdome. Why wouldn't I shock and play search? Because there's no reason to. There's no reason to shock and play search there. I know the card that's on top of my deck, and I know I want to keep it there. And I have 2 mana available the following turn to play the search without shocking. There's no reason to shock. Life sucks and then you die. That's fine. We got a bunch of great cards in our sideboard here for this matchup. We're gonna trim these Ashioks. We're gonna trim some Thassa's Interventions. Probably a Contempt. That seems fine. I'd be surprised if this matchup is bad for us generically. Opponent ran pretty hot and we ran pretty poorly to lose that one there. I mean, you could argue Uro and Azcanta are good together because Azcanta binning a card was the reason why I was able to escape the Uro there. Nice, Space Herring. Congrats. Discard spell, sweeper. Good solid curve here. Could Thassa's have countered that Lookout? No, I probably wouldn't have conceded if that was the case. It was counter unless they paid 2 and they had 3 mana available. So we're gonna take this one. Actually, did I need to take that one? Maybe I was supposed to leave that one there because I had the Ritual of Soot. Yeah, uh-huh. Bottoms up. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. Now that's a spell, chat. That right there, that's a spell. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Who's the evasive creature deck now, opponent? So I'm casting this down during their upkeep because it makes them have to spend mana for something like Wizard's Retort on their turn after they've untapped. So this makes it slightly less likely that they're able to have enough mana to do actual everything they want to be able to do this turn. All right, now that was the easy game, remember, chat? That was the game where we were on the play. It doesn't matter. That game was over regardless of first spell resolved. I'm going to put the extra Contempt back in on the draw, and I'm going to trim a Search for Azcanta, because I just don't think we have time to set this up as nearly as often. Ooh, Aether Spouts would be a fun one. I top 8'd a Modern Open with Aether Spouts in my deck one time. That card's gasoline. Discord streaming is super, super clean and easy. Super, super clean and easy. Way easier than expecting people to set up Twitch streams. I'm gonna mulligan this. This is too many cards that just don't impact the board. Ideally, we'd like a Disfigure in our opener. So can't Disfigure on one here, unfortunately, but the rest of the hand's pretty good. I'm gonna bottom the Remorse here, actually. Since I can't Disfigure on one, we'll go tapped land into Disfigure on two, into Uro, into Soot, hopefully is the curve. If you wanted to stream the tournament, can you? Yes, but you would need to be able to stream to Discord on top of your Twitch stream. If you want to stream the tournament. Because pulling feature matches from Twitch as opposed to Discord would add an extra layer of complexity that I just don't wanna agree to take on. So, assuming we do these with some consistency, the first few will probably have some learning experience / growing pains as I figure things out. I'm gonna do some dry runs ahead of time to try and make sure that things work how I expect them to work, but there's always different things you can't predict that come up. Yes, MTG Melee is a phenomenal piece of software, and it automatically translates the start time of the tournament to the current time zone that you live in. So the tournament will be starting at 9 a.m. Central, and it will translate that automatically to whatever the time zone your computer that you're viewing the page in is in. Because when you have competent developers, chat, the sky's the limit. Yeah, the website is something that the developer's been working on for a while, and just the whole current situation of the world pushed them into getting it rolled out sooner than they were going to originally. Yeah, signups are open. The one thing to keep in mind is I am expecting the tournament to fill at 256 player cap, which means we will play 11 rounds of matches. And I would ask that if you cannot commit to playing all 11 rounds, don't take a slot from someone who can. It is double elimination, so most people aren't going to play 11, but some of you will. Yeah, no third land means they currently have 7 spells in their hand. Maybe I'm supposed to Ritual of Soot here. Okay. We're probably going to lose this game. I guess I can escape Uro here. Nah, I want a Ritual first, right? The tournament's double elimination. You will not have the option to continue playing after your second loss. For logistical reasons, that's what we're doing. Vomit. We did, fam. We did. Oh, really needed that to be a spell, huh? Yeah, woof. Screw beats flood, right? I don't even know that we were that flooded. Their hand was just very good. They stumbled a little bit to start, but once they're able to get on board, they just had so many counter spells. Probably Gummy Pizza. Thanks for the 18 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, I saw someone mention that. Did it really only have 4 mana sources that could cast? Did it really only have 4 sources that could cast its Bolas? Or did I misread the sources in the mana base? Play this to try and hit our land drop. It had 6 red sources. That's so gross. Never forget that Magic is a game of skill and variance. Just like good players with well-built decks can do poorly, players with poorly built decks can also do well. Bye, friends. It's garbage time. You don't have to go home, but you can't play here. Do 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 do. Scred didn't really win a Grand Prix. Blood Moon won a Grand Prix. It just happened to be in a Scred deck. Seems like a fine board plan. Wow, no 2-drop. That's good for us. Uplift Desk is the brand of desk that I have that I would recommend avoiding. Uplift. Unfortunately, because we're on the draw, we can't take away both their Heliod before they get them down. Is what it is. I'm gonna keep the green source. %. I like how you rounded up 78.5 to 80%. This castle is actually a really big deal. There's a good chance we can't beat this castle. Castle plus Heliod is. What stand-up desk would I recommend? I don't have one that I would recommend currently. At some point, I'm going to get a new desk. The plan was to do it after we finish the new room, so. I would recommend not buying the literal cheapest one on the market though, which is what I did at the time. Don't cheap out on things you use every day, chat. It does. It's functional, but the electronics are buggy. Half the time I press my preset and it just doesn't do anything. You have to poke it again. It also just like completely locked up on me the other day and I had to look up how to do a full hard reset of the thing. Standing desks in general are very good. 10 out of 10 would recommend. If you're someone that spends a lot of time sitting. Spending some of that time standing is ideal. Well, really need to draw an Uro so that way we can start ending the game. Yeah, Uro, Ashiok, heck, even Murderous Rider would be good. Oh, you know what? I should leave 2 green up, probably, so that way if I draw a non-green land, I could. He just jumps every turn. Well, if they're jumping him every turn, he's gaining 3 life and drawing a card every turn, and they're not building their board. So if they're jumping Uro every turn, that's a net positive for us, in my opinion. Vomit. Super punished for not holding up Disfigure here. Now they get to make tokens with lifelink, which is a big deal. Unfortunate timing for us there. Asujao, thank you for the 5 months. I appreciate the prime. Welcome back. I paid like $400 for mine several years ago, as just a point of comparison for you. And mine was one of the cheaper ones on the market. Decent office equipment is not cheap. Yeah, a lot of the ones I shied away from were in the $1,000 range when I bought this originally.
I will defend the weak at every opportunity. Prepare for battle.
So, will Maelstrom Pulse these 2 vampire tokens, will disfigure their blocker, and then we'll kill the Gideon here? Hey, Great Daddy. Thank you for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right. Sure. Yep. No, that's just being unlucky. We've been playing Historic for... I guess it's the first Historic deck of the day, but we played 5 or 6 matches with this deck, and we played against Gruul once. I do think Gruul is one of the better decks in the format, but it's definitely not all Gruul. Oh, I guess I should Maelstrom Pulse this, huh? Alright, yep. That was a mistake. No, we've not played much Nexus of Fate on stream. On stream, we tend to play decks that people want to pay to see, which tends to not be decks like Nexus of Fate. Hey, thanks for the 9 months. Kane was framed. I appreciate that. I mean, if you queue up with blue-green flash, you got what you deserved, regardless of what you played against. Just saying. We're just gonna deck them, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I think we're in garbage time here. I think it's gonna take a second, but I agree that they are like past the point of return. Huh. Well, I was gonna Ritual of Soot here, but I think with the cast down drawn, I'm just gonna do that. You got it, friend. All your fears are given form. Ha! You so creepy, Ashiok. So we're going to go to 33 here, which is unfortunately a little bit shy of triggering their Ajani. Oh, Contempt puts us to 35. It totes does. Is this Exile enchantments too? Artifacts and creatures only. I feel like we should do it on principle though, right? Oh, it doesn't do anything. If I Contempt, their board's then empty. That's so sad. I am Lace Ed. Scruff McGruffin, thank you for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, I'll ult the Ajani to kill them. Okay, I will ult the Ajani to kill them. I know it's what you want, chat. I know it's what you want. What you really want. Your agony has inspired my masterpiece.
When evil arises, I will be there.
Oh, yeah. Send that vampire a message, chat. Let them know that their evil will not be tolerated. Love it. Love it. Opponent's got a good sense of humor. Uro triggers Pride Bait. You love to see it. You love to see it. This one felt super reasonable. I liked a lot of what was going on here. I don't know that if I have anything I'd really change. I felt like we had a good mix of things. We did get run down by mono blue, but I felt like we had good tools there overall, and I wouldn't be surprised with like winning a die roll there or being slightly more fortunate in a couple key spots. We would have been able to pull out the W. If you really want to hedge mono blue, jamming the full 4 Ceratops to the sideboard's definitely reasonable. There's a chance that this deck struggles with blue-white control a little bit too, so Ceratops would be very good in that matchup as well. So it's a board card that if you added it, it could be useful in multiple places. So other than that, though, was pretty pleased. If you're looking for a sweet mid-range or control deck, this one seems like a reasonable thing to jump into here in Historic. All right, speaking of Historic, we've got a bunch more sweet decks coming up here today. We are going to roll on into some Teamer Fires featuring some Field of the Dead here up next with an Elemental sub-theme. I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll while I get my client restarting, get all my deck lists flipped over on the overlay and stuff. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, by the way, before I go anywhere, I almost forgot. Shout out to the local game store in Dallas, Texas. Apparently the local game store is their name. They gave me a bunch of Fire and Ice sleeve codes. So I'm going to post those in chat now too. So, first come, first serve. Fight. Enjoy. All right, back in a few.